A very warm evening once again on a Sunday evening. This is our point of view, and we are glad to actually be with you once again. Good evening, Lance.
Good evening, Chaza. How are you doing this lovely Sunday?
Doing pretty fine. And yesterday we're supposed to be right here on point of view, but due to the game that we had to take our program to today.
Definitely, Zambia was playing the women. Zambia Shipolopolo team was playing a friendly against Morocco. So we had to accommodate soccer fans so that they can watch the game live. As you know, ZNBC was unable to show it. Hence the moving of the program to today. But glad that we are on today, and definitely we have quite a lot that we have for the viewers, and they can also invite their friends to invite their friends so that they can come through and be part of the program and also get to share their views, comments on the stories that we have for this week.
Definitely, we'll be looking at stories and of news that have made headlines this week. This is your favorite program that comes your way every week to take a review of what's been happening in the week. And to host it, my name is Chaza, and my co-host is Lance. And we'll be glad to hear from you as to what your point of view is as regards the stories that we have this evening. Okay, we roll on straight into the first news item. Then on the other side, we get to have our views on it. Let's go on.
Comesa women reached at Mr. Makina Makembe's place with songs of praise and jubilation. Their visit comes in after they watched an emotional and touching story of Mr. Makina, a resident of Lusaka's Kalikiliki compound who changes his teenage daughter's menstrual pads.
Naona mabuto yawe yamenebapitamu. So mabuto yawe yamenebapitamu yanatibwira maningi. Ndiye yalenga kuti lero tufike pano tibwere tibaone. Iyi group yonse yamenemuona nyapa Komesa. Ise mama Ketias pa Komesa. Ise bambi Tony na Ngusa na we. So tinamvera maningi kuyipa ndiye pamene tinankala pamozi nobwera kamba yawe tandize ifamily. Mwana tinatandizira family napo atasitarezi almost 15,000 kwacha. 15,000 kwacha tinatenga 10,000 tagula vintu vonse vamene vili apa ma blankets, mattress, ma diapers, mapazi, maunga, maraisi, vonse vili apa. Tinabulirako kuti family tandizi.
Komesa women have ordered the 52-year-old man and his daughter of a lot of basic needs they lacked.
But imwe kumbera chabe kuona chabe not ati munamuona but kumbera chabe akukuli problem uko makwanisa kubwera na ngazikoma imwe Komesa yonse business yangu Mungu aikepo kwanje yake.
Amen. Komesa women therefore donated clothing, beddings, groceries, food hampers, and a business capital of 5,000 kwacha to Mr. Makina and his family in order for him and his family to be sustained.
Amount of 5,000 kwacha for him to start up a business. Yes, and we have emphasized with the father that he should start up a small business just here at his place. If he can just put up a small makeshift shop where he can start up a small business like a cantemba, yes, so that he can be helping out with the girl. For giving them again some items like donating like we have done today, that we cannot promise, yes, because that's why we have suggested that we give him some cash that he can start up like a small business to sustain the family.
Your full name? Reporting for ABN Newsroom, I'm Aida Banda Musakanya.
I
Well,
don't know if you were also having that challenge as regards the video. Lance, were you viewing the video playing properly, or the network problem affected everyone?
Well, I was viewing it properly and could get what the women were saying. And of course, many thanks to them for the items, assorted goods items that they donated to the man. Remember, we had also this story on News Review last week when we were talking about this man changing his physically challenged daughters, changing them pads. He was making those sanitary wares from his old shirts and vitenges. So it's really nice and good to see that actually the business community looked into it, particularly these traders from Comesa Market came through to the help of this man, hoping to see that many people have such a heart and come through, to be able to help the needy and provide something. And the onus is basically on the man as well to start up a small business. As we have heard from the women, they gave him also some cash. Hopefully, he starts up some business and see on to ways of how he can be raising money for his daughters. And today being the day that it is, we would also say happy Father's Day to the man, because it really takes courage for you to change your daughter's sanitary wares. Not all men can do that, but he was facing that challenge and he is able to do it. He was able to do it. Therefore, it's really kudos to him, and we really appreciate the women for coming in.
Great indeed. It's a wonderful gesture that the women put up. And yes, indeed, I agree with you that very few men would actually get to do what this 52-year-old man has done. We kudos and a lot of kudos to him. And thank you so much. Actually, Lance, it's definitely a happy Father's Day to all the fathers and father figures that are watching the program right now.
Definitely, it's Happy Father's Day to all the father figures. And really, Chaza, this obviously this man should be should be a best example to all the men out there, especially those that mostly run away from their children because of problems or what. This man has taken it upon himself to look after the kids, to look after the children after their mother decided to abandon them, or because they are physically challenged, and or because she's unable to continue taking care of them. So it's really kudos to the man, and looking forward to have him as a role model for other young men that are coming up as fathers, and also just to emulate the goodness of the man.
All right. Those of you that are having children and those that are yet to have children, remember that children, if you invest in the children, you definitely get to yield out of your children. Take care of your children, because tomorrow they will definitely get to take care of you. This is a point of view, and now we move away from the first story that we've had, talking about the man that has been helped in terms of sanitary pads and a capital to start up a business. Right now, we go straight to our next story. See you on the other side.
People living with disabilities in Wapra province have bemoaned the failure by most motorists to obey the highway code, which states that visually impaired people must be prioritized on the road. Referring to rule number 34 and 35 of the code, the organization observes that motorists do not give way to those crossing the road with white cane and those using wheelchairs, clutches, tricycles and assist where necessary. Brighton is calling for compliance and adherence with regard to the Highway Code to stop the discrimination those with disabilities are being subjected to.
Bofikumine nangu abafuire babombera paliyo nchito besho okumuno okutira ati imisebo iri yakwata amatamaki babike mu amamaki yali ayine yalipo nesipampa fire fyakulanga okutira ati apa mufuire mwayimanina na firafi nesipampa fyakutira ati apa tamufire mwaendera pali speed.
And the Albinism Association of Zambia Secretary Kelvin Vesa says people with albinism who have short eyesight are victims of motorists, especially when crossing the road at the traffic light section, saying most accidents are caused by disobeying the highway code.
Livinga mulipa marobot, filango marobot yaka. Ifwe tatumona, nangu tature mwene shokufikapo. Ula driver muli motoka, na mwana kwa ti robot ya kwa mpera green. So arefu akitashani aye kwa reya. So ena taro shifa bantu bali palia. Kumona makategorizi y'abantu abalipalia ene cyo ara focus na focus yako yara afipa light. Since ama light na mpera na achita flash green. Whether palia abantu basaga driver atashani ara achita continue. So we muntu ushiremona. Ngachakufata kuri po wakuchita kwa late tangu kwa iwe there is a motor, there is a vehicle there. And
Luapra Province persons living with a disability chairperson Matthews Kaoma is urging the government to consider intensifying the sensitization to motorists.
It has also happened even to persons with visual impairment on how to use the cane. So when I'm there, I want to cross the road, sometimes to be kaka cane pesa panshi. I'm trying to tell the motorist to say, this is the time I've reached here, you can pass through. But immediately when I'm holding the cane like this, straight, I'm telling them to say, can you stop? I want also to cross. But these things has never been oriented to persons with or to motorists. So we are appealing to the Rights Department to make sure that they orient the motorists upon giving them the license so that they understand the importance of the cane to a visually impaired.
A fact-finding mission with the persons living with a disability here reveals the alarming levels at which motorists disregard the highway code. As is seen from the observation made, most motorists have been paying blind eye to the highway code in regards to people living with disabilities. Reporting for Prime TV News, I'm Jubilee Malambo in Mansa.
Right. Thank you so much for that story. Lance, we have seen the story. We have been following. Well, what is your viewpoint on this story?
Well, thank you so much, Chaza. You know, sometimes I tend to wonder why our motorists do deliberately fail to follow simple highway codes, simple rules. You know, this does not only happen to the visually impaired, to the physical disabled, or to people that are living with albinism. This happens to everyone. Chaza, we have designated crossing points on almost all the roads in the country, but little do motorists pay attention to giving way to pedestrians so that they can cross when it's their time to cross. We know for a fact that designated crossing points, which we call zebra crossings, those are designated points for each and every person or for pedestrians to cross from. But you will find that motorists on that same part, that's when you find them speeding, disregarding the highway code. In the highway code, it is stated that whenever you approach a crossing point, you have to stop. Whether there is a pedestrian waiting to cross or not, you have to make a stop for at least a minute or two, and then that's when you can move. But unfortunately, with our Zambian motorists, whether there are people crossing or not, they want to speed, and they want you who is supposed to cross from the crossing point to wait for them until they pass, then that's when you cross. They feel like they have more rights to use the road than a pedestrian. They feel just because they pay road tax, then they are more I don't know the word that I can use. They are more of the people that are mandated to use the road than pedestrians. That is a very bad precedence that has been set, or that is set by these people. And it's very alarming to see motorists failing to understand that when a visually impaired person puts up their cane, it means it's time for them to cross. It's very disheartening. This happens, we have seen it even in the clip. And this is not only a matter of RATSA to look at the issue and intensify intensify the sensitization program to motorists. I think even a motorist, a driver, as you are reading the highway code, you ought to understand these things. Let's not do things deliberately or because you are driving a car or you are in a vehicle. Chaza, I think also our traffic police department or section is very weak when it comes to upholding the highway code and ethics, because I have witnessed in Botswana, Chaza, in Namibia, you will find that if a motorist does not stop at a crossing point, whether there are people or not there, they are charged, Chaza. How are they charged? Obviously, there are surveillance cameras that take note of number plates. You will find traffic officers patrolling these areas to see how many people are in compliance with the highway code. But in Zambia, it's business as usual. Our traffic officers are only hell bent on looking at Mwatirina Msonko, Iribe, ni DSM. They are not looking at who is breaking the law or the highway code when people are crossing. So these are the things that we need to look at. Motorists must be charged for not giving way to pedestrians on their designated crossing points. That is where we need to start from. I think that's when we will see sanity. That's when we will see these drivers upholding the highway code. But if we just say RATSA should intensify, yes, RATSA will intensify. They will sensitize. They will tell these motorists, this is how it's done. This is what you're supposed to do. But then they have done that. Who enforces the law if they break it? When these traffic police officers are busy looking kuli basakira wa basi, basakira wa taxi, where na motoka sio kwana yakunze maybe konala sio kwana ndiyo basakira because they know bazadiamo just there and then. Basakira wa basi because bazati paja pa glasi misonko sizo kwana bazadiamo there and then. Who will protect a pedestrian who will be bashed per crossing point just because a vehicle failed to stop or because they do not want to stop and give way to pedestrians? So we also need to intensify our traffic police department to do patrols mostly on crossing points as well, to see to it that people understand what they do. Chaza, we have witnessed a train bashing a car on a train crossing point, a rail crossing the road. We know the rule there. A motorist has to stop so that the train can go. There is that giveaway. But you find that wamotoka afuna opita nje abatapaninga cheka speed che train season pesa, that thing is slow. We have witnessed such accidents, Chaza. There you can't say that no, because it's an Awerenge highway code or because RATSA hasn't intensified the sensitization on motorists to stop. It is even there, Pama signs, before you reach there, we have signposts saying give way, stop at all crossing, at all rail crossings. A driver has to stop. We have also seen Chaza, our Zambian roads, they have four-way drives where once a paja, palibema traffic light, it's written on all the four-way to say give way. Now, because I am in a hurry, I don't want to give way to somebody that has come first there. And thinking I'm in the highway. So we need to change that mindset, Chaza. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lance, and I'm glad you have actually touched both sides. That the highway code has got provisions that show and talk about road signage and all traffic rules and so on and so forth. And you have also indicated that there must be enough sensitization on the part of RATSA, and the enforcement also must be enhanced by the police. I'm so glad that you've tackled both sides, and I feel your point of view is well balanced there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are right here on Ubuntu channel. You are watching Point of View. For now, we'll do take a break, and on the other side, we'll take up the story about medicines or drugs. See you on the other side.
I wish to confirm that a former technologist of Chirindo District Health Office in Southern Province has been convicted and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment with hard labor, suspended for 12 months for theft by public servant, while his accomplice was convicted and sentenced to 12 months imprisonment with hard labor, suspended for 6 months for the offense of theft. This is in a matter where the Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, in September 2021, while working in conjunction with the Zambia Police Service, apprehended Caesar Kagoli, aged 35 years old, of High Coast Chirundu, and Joseph Kasongo, aged 29 years old, of Garden House in Lusaka, and charged them with theft by public servant and theft of government medicines worth 35,803 kwacha, respectively, contrary to the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. When the matter was brought before Honorable Mr. Austin Movita at the Siavonga Magistrate Court, Caesar Kagoli and Joseph Kasongo pleaded not guilty to the charge on 19th October 2021, and trial commenced, which led to the duo being found guilty for the stated offense, leading to their conviction and sentencing. We wish, therefore, to issue a stern warning as an authority to all those who commit similar offenses, that we are equal to the task of ensuring that no government medicines should be found with an unauthorized person's failure to adhere to the applicable laws relating to the theft by public servants of medicinal and allied substances will result in offenders being prosecuted.
Thank you so much for that story. We greatly appreciate even the fact that you are still with us on Point of View. It's a story that is talking about two pharmacists that have been tried and finally sentenced due to theft of drugs. I can see Mr. Mkeleba has joined us, and again he has just left us. I wish we could bring him on just now. All right, Lance, let's be on it. The issue of drugs and the two pharmacies. Lance, are you here?
Chaza, it breaks my heart seeing that people have the audacity,
It appears.
to go and. Yes, can you get me? Okay, can you get me now? Hi,
Yes, I
Chaza,
can
can you
get you
get me?
now. You can proceed.
Oh, okay,
Yes, I
great.
can hear you. Can you hear
I
me
was
as well?
saying, it breaks. Okay, thank you. It breaks my heart to see two people that are entrusted by the government to provide drugs for the public, people that are unable to buy medicine or to buy drugs from a private store get to steal, deciding to benefit alone from that good gesture of the government. Chaza, for time since time immemorial, the Ministry of Health has been the ministry that has been lagging always because it lacks drugs most of the times. You go to the hospital, you go to the clinic, you'll be told there are no drugs. This time around, we don't even have Panadol in hospitals, in clinics, in local health centers. And then somebody decides to steal the available drugs, which is there. It's very unfortunate. It breaks my heart. And, you know, for me, I feel like these people, 25 years, um, you know, I feel like these people should even be charged, caged for a very long time because they are playing with human life here. We are complaining of drug shortages, and then somebody decides to steal drugs for their own benefit, for their own good. And this is medicine which is worth 500,000 kwacha, Chaza. What is also continuing to be very disheartening is that the duo, one is 25-year-old and the other one is 29. These are just youths. These are people maybe that have just been engaged in the health sector. And without you even reaching your 30, without you maybe having at least 1 or 2 years in the profession, you decide to start stealing. It's very sad and very bad. It makes me emotional and would really want to make me go on and on and on. But I think let me end from here and maybe leave room for Mukereba who has joined us.
All right, Lance. Yes. Yeah, thank you indeed. I could actually feel you getting to be emotional indeed. And it is really a touching issue that we are looking at. Mr. Mkelebai, good evening and welcome to the program.
I hope you can see me.
Mr.
Can you see me?
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, indeed. I can
Yes.
see you. Good evening.
Yeah, it's good evening, but us here, it's also evening, but the sun is shiny. It's like for 12 hours.
All right. You may give us.
Yes, please. Was it the clip? Is it about the clip of people that store medications? Hello?
We can see by the light, yes.
All right. Is it too much lighting? I can disguise myself from the video. How about that?
Well, the light was fine, but yes, we are talking about the video of two
Yes.
guys that store
Yes,
medicine.
indeed.
Okay, even though I haven't really followed the issue of safety that those they
Yes,
store,
indeed, Mr. Mkelebai.
were they caught?
Yes, they were caught and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment.
Okay, and well, if they were caught and the justice system has delivered, and through their whatever mitigatory factors they appealed, or rather they reached the conscience of the magistrate that sentenced them, and then he gave them 2 years, and we the majority feel. Yes, please. Should I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay, I thought I was being interjected. Sorry. The punishment, it's okay. However, if it's too little, I think the state, if they want, they can appeal if they want. But otherwise, they have proven their case beyond reasonable doubt, and those chaps are behind bars. It's a quite sad situation with what is going on. I don't know
Yes, yes.
what caused them to
They were
steal.
tried and they were sentenced.
Yeah, and I think we should just applaud the judiciary for having slapped them with such kind of sentence. Hopefully, that people will refrain from engaging themselves from such kind of illicit activities. You know, there's no secret under the sun. Even when we know for the fact that people who are taking advantage and stealing from the government as we speak, even big fishes that are in the government that are busy siphoning drugs from the government coffers, storages, to their personal businesses. Remember that whatever goes up must come down. We, the people, we know, we see, and we have the government today that is very, very serious when it comes to observing the rule of law and prosecuting those who be found wanting. Whether you belong to the ruling party or any political party, you will be once found, you will be dealt with, and you'll be sentenced. The only thing I want to urge our magistrates and the judges is to please do not. You have to go by the wind of change. When you see there's a lot of cases that are taking place in the country, and you have seen that there is political will to change or to fight, for example, the fight against corruption. It is imperative that our judges out there and the magistrates, and of course the local court justices, must also be on the same level to fight this corruption cancer together. Even when you find someone guilty, you can simply sentence them or give them a harsher punishment that is appropriate, of course, or tabulated, even more if you want, in the laws, in our laws. So basically, that's what I can say for now. Ukuiva, chivi, we are Christian, mwilaivila abantu iyo. Take care of our properties and let's support the state and prevent any theft from taking place. Ngamwaka kwa lwenu nimwo mukachula nimwo mukachusha n'abana benu n'abashukuru benu. I end here.
Okay, I can't seem to get you, Chaza. I don't know. Are you there? Okay. Well, it appears like we really have some internet challenges. Let's get to go on a very short break, and then when we come back, obviously we get into our next story that is bordering on the Drug Enforcement Commission when they called on Chawama Member of Parliament, Honorable Tasila Lungu, for questioning at their offices. Let's get on that short break.
We are confident that we are standing on firm ground. Our clients are innocent of everything that they are alleging. As a matter of fact, we are disappointed that they are not getting down to investigate matters as they ought to. They are not to get information from our clients. They are the state. They know where to get the information as regards properties. Ministry of Lands is theirs. They know who owns what. So they should be able to come up with better information in the next time that they decide to charge anyone or indeed investigate anyone.
I just want to express my disappointment for all of this. As you can see, my fellow MPs are here, and thank you for coming and your support. We're supposed to be in Parliament. I'm actually on the floor of the House today to debate the conditions of service for judges. We have important national issues to attend to, but the day has been wasted. We had a workshop this morning. We didn't attend the workshop this morning. And as you can see, there's nothing going on here. It's just to distract and get us away from important national matters.
Thank you so much. That was an anti-corruption commission story. And unfortunately, before that story, we had serious, internet connections. I must believe that now we are loud and clear. Lance, thank you so much. And you've covered me, even if we cannot actually see you, but we greatly appreciate your presence. Let's get into the anti-corruption story. Your viewpoint on this one.
Well, actually, Chaza, it's the Drug Enforcement Commission. And obviously, Chawama Member of Parliament, and together with her husband, Patrick Mwasa, were being questioned by the commission for being in possession of suspected proceeds of crime. Of course, this was in relation, this was in the anti-money laundering office, anti-money laundering unit office. Now, interesting points raised by the lawyer representing the couple, Makebi Zulu, right there, to say that the commission was not ready for this interview. So they called his clients for this interview, but he's disappointed that actually the commission did not do its work by investigating the matter that they called the two suspects for. Instead, they wanted the two to reveal certain things or certain issues that the commission was to start investigating on. I think time and again I have made this point clear, and I will always stand by this point. These two units, the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Drug Enforcement Commission, before they embark on a case, I feel they should be doing their homework thoroughly. I feel they should. These two units must be able to investigate before they call a suspect. Because when you are calling a suspect, you are asking them, bordering on the evidence that you have found. Not you want to call them first before you have the evidence. You want to get evidence from them, and then that's when you want to go and dig. I don't think that should be the procedure, Chaza. The procedure should you investigate. So if you have a whistleblower, if somebody comes to report to you, I am suspecting person X is involving or got involved he himself into such acts which I believe to be proceeds of crime, then it is incumbent upon the Drug Enforcement Commission or the Anti-Corruption Commission to go deep and dig into these allegations that have been made by a whistleblower. Okay, so the whistleblower must be able to provide reasons why they think person X is corrupt or got involved themselves into proceeds that are believed to be of crime. So when that is provided, you go in those channels and look for exactly what this person came to whistleblow about. When you dig deep, you find out what it is, or you find the evidence which is linking person X to those crimes. Then you call person X for interrogations, okay, or for investigations. What are you investigating? You are investigating against what you have found. Okay, so you somebody tell us you are corrupt. Person X refuses. Okay, but we have this evidence that links you to this corruption which a whistleblower reported you on. can you deny or substantiate your claim to say you are not part of it? Then there we are making progress. Not Chaza, we call person X to come and whistleblow themselves. We ask them, are you corrupt? Yes, I am corrupt. How are you corrupt? That's not how it works, Chaza. These two units need to do their work. But again, obviously, I would also take this chance to implore the powers that be that we need to fund the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Drug Enforcement Commission adequately for them to run their investigations smoothly, without a bias, and also so that we can see better results, Chaza. There is no way that you will have an underfunded Drug Enforcement Commission or Anti-Corruption Commission seeking a case or investigating a case of somebody who is lucratively rich that might even bribe them more than the money that they have been funded to run that investigation, for that investigation to come out clean or to come out perfectly. This is where we are now seeing persons coming out to say, I cracked a deal with this commission. Why? They are underfunded. So they found somebody who can obviously at least fatten the account of the commission. Okay, so this is a cry or an implore that I am making to the government to say, let's adequately fund the Drug Enforcement Commission and the Anti-Corruption Commission if we are to see the credibility of these two corruption fighting entities or commissions. Only then, Chaza, only then, if they are adequately funded, will we see how lethal and biting these two entities can be. But if they continue being underfunded each and every day, each and every time, we will be crying to say the Anti-Corruption Commission, the Drug Enforcement Commission is not doing their work. Therefore, let's disband them. We will continue seeing members of parliament who, because at some point managed to get into the act of bribing the commission, saying, can we do lifestyle auditing of the investigators that are at these institutions? So Chaza, let's go that way. Let's fund adequately these two institutions. Only then will we see how effective these institutions can be. I submit.
Thank you so much, Lance, and I do agree with you. And every time we must bear it in mind that lack of preparation is preparation to fail. So yes, indeed, if these people are to be investigated before even calling for an interview or an interrogation, there must be substantial ground for an investigation to ensue. This is a point of view, and we are glad that you are here with us. We are moving on to another piece of news. On the other side, we get into analysis. Tonight, we are myself, Chaza, and Lance, and we were joined by Mr. Mkeleba. I don't know what's been happening to Ruben. He popped up and disappeared. I hope you'll be able to join us. So, Director, let's go to the next item.
Nobody has been acquitted from this new dawn administration cases that have been started. There's nobody that has been acquitted. Okay, what you are seeing are temporary sort of decisions. It's like an injunction. I get an injunction today, it's challenged in court tomorrow, then the court can rule either way. So please, let the people of Zambia not make the mistake of saying that there is a problem with investigations, or that there is a problem with the trial of these individuals, or even that there is a problem with the way the ACC and other law enforcement agencies are doing their work. That is farther from the truth than could be possible, because you have not seen any final decision by which a person has been acquitted. What you have seen is the same accused persons and their cronies, the people that they associate with, coming and saying nobody will be convicted from amongst these people because we still control the courts. I've seen on social media an allegation to the effect that a senior party member from the PF has said that. But is he God? Are these not the same people who 10 months ago were saying, let's not forget as Zambians where we have come from and be fooled by this sort of narratives. These are the individuals who were on TV every day and every night saying the UPND can never win, the UPND is a regional party, the UPND are useless, the UPND can never form government. That is the sort of narrative that they are used to push in. And that is the mindset we have gotten used to as Zambians. From that sort of talk, we have not yet dissociated ourselves from the 10 years of abuse that we've undergone. So when you have a whole bunch of people talking today, a so-called bulldozer is saying, hey, tamwa kwatene nsapato, kuti mwansenda shani, tamwa kasende po ifintu fyandi, ingandandini nsenda. People believe that that is the correct narrative. And you must understand that the law enforcement agencies, the courts, and ourselves who are involved in the criminal justice and the justice process generally cannot put certain information out into the public domain. You will never prosecute a case in the public domain if it's going to the court of law. So on the one hand, you have this bunch of people who are talking constantly and giving a narrative that there's nowhere that this fight is going. And on the other, the law enforcement agencies cannot speak about these matters because they're going into court. You can't prosecute a case in the public domain. So they are taking advantage of that, the fact that there is that requirement not to speak of these matters in the public domain, and they are twisting a particular narrative. But for us, I've given you the tools, fellow Zambians, of what to look out for. Has there been an acquittal? Has any court of law said individual X, bulldozer, is not guilty? There's no such decision that has come out. Check all the decisions that have come out from the courts of law of late. There's not a single one that has said this person is innocent of the offense of corruption or whatever financial crime that is. Yes, we can talk about a recent decision by the Constitutional Court on Milingolungu. And what is that decision? The decision is to say we'll stay, we'll not continue with the cases until such time that we as Constitutional Court determine whether or not the immunity agreement was properly before the parties. That is not an acquittal. That does not mean that Mr. Lungu will not be held to account if he is to be held to account for his actions. He is still going to have his day in court. So let's not be premature and listen to these narratives as the people of Zambia, because we're doing ourselves a disfavor. We're giving ourselves BP. This pasamutu over things which are far from even being ready.
All right, that's a story that we actually got from the program that we had right here, an interview with the Minister of Justice right here on Ubuntu channel on Meet Your Leaders. Your reaction, Lance, to this piece of item?
Well, thank you so much, Chaza. What the Justice Minister needs to understand that is that in the absence of information, every misinformation or disinformation takes root. You and I, Chaza, are both journalists, and obviously we know the meaning of misinformation and the meaning of disinformation and the difference between the two. So if they do not want to prosecute these or to win these cases in the public, why in the first place do they bring them out in the public before they have prosecuted the cases? Okay, why do they bring them in the public if they do not want to? They have just started the case, then they bring it out in the public. Why do they do so if they cannot win the case in public? The best that can be done, which is a route that the ACC at some point decided to take, but then in the long run, they have U-turned on what they said. Okay, you do everything secretly, or not secretly, but you do everything discreetly, follow the court process, do whatever that is supposed to be done. And when judgment is passed, then that's when you come to the public and inform to say, on such a day, we started such a case.
Okay, it appears I've lost you, Lance. So I'll invite Mr. Mkelewai to give us, his viewpoint on this matter.
Thank you so much. I think the Justice Minister was very fair and very categorical in what he was trying to tell the people, the Zambian people. We should be aware or beware of the propagandist, that there are people out there who are trying to negate what the government is doing. There are people out there who are never satisfied with anything that the government does or government says. So as he put it already to say, we as New Dawn have not even gotten any conviction or any acquittal or any discharge of any case that they, New Dawn, commenced during this the fight against corruption crusade. And I believe so. I believe him. It's true. These cases that are being acquitted, or rather discharges, or the nolle prosecutions being abused or entered, these are not the cases that were started with the UPND. These are cases that have been there. These deals that you are busy seeing today being produced to the public were never there. We know that these deals were made with the previous regime. And we know what is going on with the previous regime. So anything that they touched is questionable. There are a lot of things that these guys have did. And the new, and this is the narrative they're trying to give to the Zambian people to say, hey, Fionso Mule Mone Fifile Chitikefi, Niva UPND, Eba Lengere. Ufio. Everything that we are going through, everything that we are were affected today, the cost of living, the fuel prices, the lot of this huge debt, the negotiations of clearing the debt and stuff. It is not UPND that commenced or that started this. So why should UPND be judged for what they have done? They have not done anything. All they have done is to come into government and try to clear or clean the mess. This, what they're doing right now, is they are cleaning the mess of the PF. And the PF, what are they doing? There's nothing. All those promises they promised you, they are not. They were lies. How can someone deliver promises when he didn't know what he was going to find in the coffer or what he was going to find in the government? That people are corrupt, including the people that this current government is trying to hold on to, the civil servants that have been there for years. The current government is in trouble because all those chaps who are there, they are all oiled. We know for the fact. And how can you change that mindset from the corrupt regime to this clean? You will find a lot of resistance. And what we see today are resistance. They are resisting. So we should not even change or listen to such kind of narratives like the Minister of Justice said. We should just be sincere to ourselves as Zambians. That Ababa Kelenka, they are at work. They are trying to what? They are trying to undermine. They are trying to undermine what this current government is trying to do. Fighting and arresting them or questioning them to bring back what they stole. Simple. Let them bring back.
Okay, Mr. Mkelewai, I'll cut you short. Because time is not our best ally. We've got to get to the next story. And I'm sure, Mr. Mkelewai, I'll still have you to actually give us your viewpoint on the next story. Mr. Director, let's quickly switch to the next story as we get to wrap up on the other side.
Inflation, a broad measure of the overall increase in prices in the country, currently stands at 10.2%. At the beginning of 2022, the rate of inflation was at 15.1%, but it has consistently decreased over the past months. In light of this, Vice President Mutale Nalumango is confident that the cost of living will soon reduce. Mrs. Nalumango said this in the National Assembly during the Vice President's question time in response to Shuangandu Member of Parliament Stephen Kampyongo, who sought her attention on how government will ensure the cost of fuel remains affordable and stable as adjustments in pricing have an impact on the cost of goods and services.
As long as this big indicator in the cost of commodity is going down, the cost of living is going to go down.
She also clarified that government has not introduced any subsidies on fuel, but simply extended the existing tax waiver on petroleum products. Mrs. Nalumango assured the nation that negotiations with the IMF are on course. This was in response to Leader of Opposition in the National Assembly, Brian Mundubile.
As everybody has heard from IMF, that we will go through and we will sign and we will agree.
Meanwhile, the Vice President told the House that government does not condone police brutality on the two youths that were seen in a video insulting President Hakainde Hichilema. She, however, condemned the behavior of the youths.
We should take responsibility as leaders, as elders of our nation to give guidance. This is degeneration. It has never been done, not in our communities, to allow such terrible insults.
And Mrs. Nalumango has maintained that it is important for families to remain united and that government will ensure spouses are not separated by work. Mary Kachepa, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
Thank you so much for that news item. And I've seen Mr. Mkeleva is not here. I would give it to you, Lance, under 2 minutes. Your viewpoint on the clip that we are from viewing. I've seen Mr. Mkeleva is here. So Lance, under 2 minutes, as we wrap, then we get to Mr. Mkeleva.
Thank you so much, Chaza. You know, one thing that I would love the government to explain to a Zambian out there that does not understand inflation rate is to at least explain what is inflation rate. Because Chaza, as much as we have moved from 24.9 to 10.2% of inflation rate, nothing can be talked about on the prices of goods and commodities on the market. Okay, we know for somebody that has interacted with economists, for somebody that has had a chat with economists, they will tell you that inflation rate is always influenced by the cost of goods and also how much goods at what rate goods are being bought from these stores. And it would be I think somebody out there would agree with me that not so many people are buying. Hence the reason why we are seeing the inflation rate coming down, because people are now failing to buy things. People are failing to buy goods because prices are high, and because that rate between buying and availability of goods is narrowing down because people are not buying. Hence the reason why inflation rate is coming down. But with the assurance that this is a positive indicator from the government to say cost of living will gradually reduce, we are waiting for that. We are looking forward to that. I think basically, or in a nutshell, this is what I would say on that. And then just in 30 seconds, I feel the PF MPs are being hypocritical on for them to ask a question to say, has government introduced subsidies? It's the PF government that signed the tax waiver so that all marketers can bring in oil, fuel for free in the country because we were hit by COVID and all that. It's them that signed it in June 2021. So why should they ask the question if government has introduced subsidies when all that the new Dawn government has done is just to extend it by 3 months? They are being hypocritical. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lance, for that viewpoint. Mr. Mkelevai, your viewpoint on a couple of stories under 2 minutes in the clip that we had.
No, I think let me not repeat what Lance has said. I will not dwell so much on the inflation, but let me talk on what Nalmango talked about, those kids that were showering His Excellency with insults. We know for the fact that many people, especially the 1.8, are still hurting. They're still in denial. They can't believe that they are no longer in power, and though their so-called breadwinners have been kicked out of offices. So hence these reactions where you see kids are being sent, because I don't think those kids did what they did at their own accord. Those are young kids, and I believe that they were used. And the coward elders, they ran away and hid their heads into the sand. So on that part, I really feel so sorry that, yes, the situation happened that way, that the soldiers had to start brutalizing, which is not condoned. But the arrest was okay. And the kids, I believe, may have learned a lesson. Even other kids may have learned something from that. The PF government, the previous government, are still in denial, and they are going to use all propaganda, all lies they are known for to undermine what is currently taking place. But we are in a government that has a rule of law, that has observed the rule of law, and definitely those chaps, anybody that is going to try to go against and breaking the law of the new current government will definitely face the wrath of the law. So,
all right, Mr. Mkelevai, I hope I have not cut you short.
No, it's fine. It was fine. I exhausted everything I wanted to say.
Okay, beautiful. We greatly appreciate your appearance on this show, Mr. Mkelevai. The show has been so warm because of your presence.
Thank you.
Lance,
Thank you
as
so much,
usual, you've been so good also. Your presence has also been so significant despite not having you in the video. But your input is greatly appreciated. The viewers and listeners out there, we greatly appreciate your time. Like always, every Saturday, but this time around we came on a Sunday because of the football match that we had yesterday. Do catch us next week on Saturday at 21 hours, and we'll bring you exciting stories and news of the week. We've been together right here on Point of View. My name is Chaza. Thank you so much. I do say God bless you. Till next time. We are out of here.